Talk about it all here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button.
You know, one thing about Jaden that I've tried to talk to him about is tightening his chin strap. Because he doesn't tighten it, so every time he gets hit, it looks like his helmet's all messed up. And it's like, oh, God, he just got rocked.
For the win! Caught! It's gone! LSU does it!
After fucking Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, boys. Are you kidding me?
Well, LSU fan came stuck his spike in my booty.
That motherfucker hard!
Fan brought his 2 grandkids by and literally was just 30 seconds, just wanted to say thank you for the team and the season and what you did and how much it means to everybody here is truly what makes LSU special.
Yeah. Coach Kelly, we're official. Finally, I'm
Get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Clearing up, answering the question, I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah.
Let's go! Let's go! All right! Nice start. Big day. Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time. All right, good morning and welcome in on this Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. Christian has made his way in here. This is one of his, what, you said you make it in 4 days a week?
4 days a week.
4 out of 5?
Yeah, sometimes 3 if I'm feeling extra not so good. So 4.
Yeah,
I make it
we're
5
trending
this
towards
week.
4.
Me and Lloyd are doing the show Friday.
Yes.
Maybe.
Let's go.
We'll see.
I was hoping so. I can probably video in Friday morning from
Bigger fish to fry, brother.
Lake Chuck. Do what?
We got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, but we don't start our meeting until 9:30, so I could probably video in on Friday morning if we can make that work. But Lloyd is also here, obviously, behind the ones and twos. There we go. But good week, good show yesterday. Sorry about the ending, the abrupt ending to yesterday's show.
Something happened.
Yeah, we were in the middle of. We were definitely going to make it to 9 a.m. That was the worst part. We were sitting there and it happened, and we were just like, oh.
Damn, I still had some things I wanted to say.
We want to push through to 9 a.m. for you guys, and we were getting there, and the computer just reset.
It said, oops.
It just reset, and the stream dropped, and we weren't able to get it back up. But we're back this morning, and hopefully we have no technical difficulties, and we're able to get all the way through to 9 a.m. Obviously, spring practice started on Saturday. They'll be back on the field today. We'll be out there tomorrow. That'll be the media's first day of availability tomorrow, as we will have the first 20 minutes of practice. We'll have access to take pictures, video, watch, the whole deal. And then Brian Kelly will meet post-practice. Our plan is to be back in the studio after practice to sit down and kind of talk you through what we saw. Do a little practice recap show like we did during fall camp, so y'all can hear it as soon as possible. LSU baseball tonight will face Xavier as they try to continue their win streak ahead of SEC play, which starts this weekend as they have their Missouri series coming up. Justin, our guy Justin, recorded Rally Time podcast yesterday with Christian to update some LSU baseball stuff. Obviously, he missed last week, so it'll be back. It's being uploaded now, and we will get that put out to you hopefully today or tomorrow. Christian, how did that go?
It went well. If you listen to the show every day, you get a good take on LSU baseball. But if you listen to me and Justin's show, it's very detailed, and we recap everything over the last 10-game stretch. And Justin works his ass off to get that show out, and you can tell the content's good. Justin's great at what he does. So yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
Was this the third episode?
Yes, the third episode.
Third
And
episode.
if you've seen it, you can tell Justin just absolutely loves it. Sabrion says if we have technical difficulties, we'll blame it on Christian. Amen.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That's the reason he's here.
It is.
This is our scapegoat. Don't forget.
I wore that hat for quite some time. Why doesn't fucking Twitter work on here? What is going on, dude?
That's not me.
No, it's not. It's the fucking Ukrainians or whatever the hell's going on in the world. Like, give me the fucking internet back. My God. I'm trying to play the LSU hype video for the people.
Oh, that was a great video.
It's the only glimpse we got.
It's the only one. It was a great video. But don't forget, every single day.
Yeah, if you do want to get Rally Time is great because Justin does do a good job. But Christian, do you feel smarter after doing it?
Oh yeah.
And listening? I would imagine so.
It's hard to listen to y'all bounce back and forth about the baseball team. Justin gives it to me like I'm a 3-year-old.
Gives it to you slow.
Yeah.
Hold your hand through it.
Here comes the airplane.
So Christian, follow me here.
So yeah, Justin's
That's
good.
awesome. It's a teacher and a student.
Yeah.
But don't forget, every single day the show is built and brought to you by RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and his team. They do great work, residential, commercial, all of it. Make sure to get in touch with them. Check them out on social media. Southern Regional Medical Center brings you the phone line. Obviously, yesterday, great stuff from Mikey Matuk as he gave us a little LSU baseball recap of the weekend ahead of his show, Mic'd Up last night. Lloyd, how did that go? I know y'all had the man, the myth, the legend on.
We did. We had Father Jay on, and he was excellent, in a great mood. Sometimes you can kind of gauge where they are in the season by how he attacks these, these interviews, and I have to be very aware of what version of myself to present. Very loose yesterday, so we got to kick it with him. We got into a big hubbub on the Mic'd Up Twitter about, I forgot who, some guy was saying that Jared Jones doesn't release the barrel, and Mikey and Jay Mitch hopped on Twitter. They're never on there, and they're like, oh, brother.
And so this guy, I don't think he knew who he was talking to. And he was like going back and forth trying to teach them about baseball and how to hit. And so I brought it, like we talked about it for a while.
Yeah.
And so I brought it up to Jay. I was like, Jay, have you ever heard of the term releasing the barrel? Because apparently Bear Jones didn't do that. He goes, I've never heard of that before, but I think whatever Bear Jones does, it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy. But
No, I
so
mean,
we got to kick it, have some fun, and learn more baseball.
No, that's awesome. That's hilarious to be in a Twitter beef back and forth with Mikey Matuk and Jared Mitchell.
Combined 22 years of professional experience in baseball.
Right, and telling them how to swing a bat and hit a baseball. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just and have no idea.
No clue. He's just going to go back, and then he said he's going to film it because I think he coaches, or I hope he doesn't.
Oh, wow.
He's like, I've got thousands of videos and hours of this on my phone. He's like, I'm heading to go make my players better now. And Mikey goes, just please video it and send it to me.
Yeah, teach them how to release the barrel.
Yeah, we'll find out.
I mean, I wonder if Bear isn't releasing the barrel. I can't imagine what it would look
happen.
like if he was.
It's hard to not release the barrel if you're hitting every ball over 100 miles an hour off the bat.
Every single time, like every ball.
Hopefully he gets that straightened out.
Yep.
And we'll see.
Maybe we'll give
200 miles off.
200 off the bat.
We'll see that tonight.
And then every single day we're brought to you, we're a part of the G Squad, the G team. Get Gordon, get it done.
G-Unit.
Gordon McKernan, Louisiana's big truck injury lawyer, and the NIL king, not just for LSU sports, but the universities all throughout the state. Christian's got the hat. That's got the phone number on it. 888-8888. Get Gordon, get it done. The website is getgordon.com. But
888.
But like we said, LSU spring football is underway, rocking and rolling. Some great video has come out from the first couple of practices, as we've seen Barry and Brown deep ball as he caught one from who knows what quarterback, but it was a great catch. Put out on LSU football's TikTok. And then Jakeem Jackson put out a nice clip of him with a pass breakup into interception as he was going up against Nick Anderson that was put out yesterday. Some great video there. Can't wait to get out there tomorrow to see some more of what they've got. This is probably the most anticipated spring camp, maybe other than Brian Kelly's first one here. You know, there's been some big ones, but the pressure right now is so high. Like, I think the only reason maybe BK's first spring camp was the most anticipated was just because it was all brand new and everything like that. But when it comes to expectations, this is the highest he's had at LSU, and it's make or break. And so when you look at all the new things, all the storylines going into spring camp, there's so many. You know, when you're talking about the number one portal class, where you've brought in guys like Nick Anderson and Jakeem Jackson and Barry and Brown, who was reported as the fastest player in college football, Mansour Delane, you know, go down the list of Braylon Moore, your new starting center. You know, and then you go into, speaking of your new starting center, what's going to go on with DJ Chester as he moves over to guard, or is it tackle? Who takes those spots? Is it Tyree Adams? You know, and then you talk about this defense where they obviously took a huge jump from 2023 to 2024. Now, what is it going to look like from 2024 to 2025? You've got new faces. You've got new energies. You've got new coaches. You know, obviously you've got Kyle Williams in. You've got some new analysts in, like Lance Guidry, the former Miami defensive coordinator. He brought in another guy to the staff that was used to be with Miami. I'm going to try to pull this name up in a second. But there's a lot of new faces. And so it's an exciting spring camp just from a storyline perspective, and it's very highly anticipated. We talked about it a little bit yesterday before the stream dropped, just some of the guys that we're looking forward to seeing out there. The newcomers, I think Christian had DJ Pickett, obviously. Lloyd goes with Harlan Berry. I had Damian Shanklin. And then the returners, Christian, you said Aaron Anderson.
AA.
And then Lloyd said Chris Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
And who did I? I picked
Garrett Nussmeier.
No, it was not Garrett Nussmeier.
I don't know if you picked one.
Can I not remember? Did I pick one? I feel like I picked one. Oh, I said Juwan Johnson.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I wanted to see the dynamic with Juwan Johnson, see what it looked like when he drops back and throws the football, if he does. And I anticipate he will. But as you can see there's your roster, your LSU football roster. There's some interesting position battles. You know, when you look at that, the running back room, to me, as much as Caden Durham has that job locked up, what's the dynamic behind him? You know, obviously Trey Holly's situation still being figured out, but then you've got a guy like Caleb Jackson. Will he put the pieces together? And then you have two big-time freshmen in with Harlan Berry and JT Lindsey. How are their minutes going to look? How much is Harlan Berry going to be used in the backfield? Is he going to be split out wide? All those different things with him. And then your wide receiver room is loaded.
God, so many of them.
So many big-time wide receivers. When you're talking about Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, Kyle Parker, some returners. Then you got guys like Nick Anderson that you brought in, Destin Hill you brought in, Barry and Brown you brought in. You still got Xavier Thomas, who although he was kind of a return specialist, you saw him step up and make some big-time plays at the wide receiver spot when you were struggling with injuries last year. Obviously, Trey Green at tight end. And then the offensive line, to me, is probably the biggest storyline going into spring football, just because you don't know who it's going to be. You lost 4 starters, and not only were they starters last year, they've been starters forever. You know, since Kelly got here, Will Campbell, Miles Frazier, Garrett Dellinger, and Emory Jones feel like that. You know, they've been in the top 5 of that offensive line, and now they're gone. Who's going to step up? You brought in 2 transfers. You've got some young guys. You've got some returners. I think Weston Davis, from some of the videos I saw put out, he looks like a monster. Obviously, Carius Kern is a name that Brian Kelly speaks highly of, saying that he's got the body and the potential to be ready for SEC play as soon as he steps foot on the field. And then, obviously, Braylon Moore is going to slide in and be your center. To me, that's the only spot that's kind of set in stone right now. I think Josh Thompson, he's a guy that's going to be on the line, but we're not exactly sure where he's going to fit in. But outside of Braylon Moore, those other 4 spots are kind of up for grabs. I think Tyree Adams is definitely the leader to be the left tackle, but it's not his job 100% yet. I thought he performed well in the bowl game, as you saw some of the new faces then. Paul Mabanga obviously got some run at guard during the season. Chester, you would think, would be able to slide over and play guard pretty easily. But outside of Braylon Moore, who's going to step up and be on that line? So it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like in the trenches because there's a lot of dynamics there. When you're talking about a new offensive line, and then on the other side, you've got some new faces at the defensive tackle position, but you've also got a new coach with Kyle Williams. So my eyes are obviously going to be locked on heavily to the trenches as they usually are. But Lloyd, what are you looking at more than not just player names that you're going to have an eye on, but what's a dynamic or a group or something that you're looking forward to seeing when we get out on that practice field?
I might pop on into the trenches with you, brother, because I do think you hit on a couple of things that I find interesting because of the addition of Braylon Moore, which seems like you brought him in to play center after you had somebody that I guess your most experienced guy back would have been DJ Chester. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And he was played center all year, but now you bring in an incumbent that started 12 games for Virginia Tech and started more than that throughout his career at Virginia Tech, all at center. And so that feels like that piece right there already makes your offensive line better. And now you insert a guy like Josh Thompson, who isn't here yet, doesn't finish school until March 21st. Like, hurry that thing up. But started 11 games at right tackle in 2023, and then 10 starts at right guard in 2024. So kind of like a swing guy as of now. So that's where I think the most interesting dynamic is going to be. Is it Weston Davis at right tackle? And then if you have Thompson come in and play right guard, then where does DJ Chester end up? Like left guard, right guard? Because I think he's good enough to play. But it's interesting that he might be kind of might be your guy outside looking in as somebody that started every game for you last year. So I think that's an interesting kind of dynamic as to what's going on because obviously replacing what you had at left tackle and right tackle, like Will Campbell, Emory Jones, it felt like such stalwarts on the offensive line that you never really had to talk about it.
Right.
The only thing that came up was, look, they're so good, why can't they run the football? But I think that it was such a well-rounded in terms of how they were able to protect the passer. And so I think you take some of the good with the bad there. But I haven't seen Tyree Adams really.
Yeah.
I saw him like Paul Mubenga for a little bit last year. And whenever that happened, whenever it was DJ Chester and Paul Mubenga next to each other, it's when LSU started a losing streak.
Yeah.
And so good to see them get experience. But, I mean, Carrius Kern, like these are like Cohen Eccles you heard a lot about. So that's where I'm kind of interested to see what the tackles are replaced with and how they perform, because if you're Nussmeier, that's probably your biggest question mark.
Yes.
Like, who's my left tackle and right tackle?
Yeah.
And a new center for him is probably going to be nice to have somebody with that experience.
Right.
Also, yeah, but it's an adjustment.
No, and I think another room, I see Spectrum said Charles Ross making some noise already. I think that linebacker room is another one to keep an eye on just because of the amount of talent that's in that room. And right now, there's no Perk and no Whit Weeks on the practice field. So there's going to be guys that are going to get the opportunity to go out there and make some noise. Obviously, Devon Keys is a name that, you saw him step up in the later part of the season, made a big play in the bowl game. But these freshmen, when you talk about Jaden Breaker, Charles Ross, but then you still got guys like Tylen Singleton who can fly.
Yeah, you saw it.
Right. Devon Keys, obviously. Wes Weeks. Just go down the list. This is a very talented linebacker room, and it's coached by the defensive coordinator. That's Blake Baker's group. And so it's going to be cool to see kind of who steps up in these opportunities that they're going to have without Perk and Whit Weeks out there.
Is this safety star CJ Jim Colley? Is that not Harold Perkins listed at Sam, or are we just kind of like, this isn't an official one? I got this off Tiger Droppings. It looks very official. But,
Fire. Yeah, it does look very official. It looks very good.
But that's another room that I'm interested in seeing is how obviously everybody's going to make a ton of and look like. How do you know that? What was his name? Where'd he go? I was just looking at it.
What,
Who said he was
CJ
making?
Jim
Oh
Colley?
no! Like Charles Ross is already making noise.
Right.
How do we know?
Don't. But
that's the beauty of covering LSU football.
Right.
Once things get started, it just becomes, this is what I heard.
Yes.
This is what I know. And I'm not taking shots at it. I just haven't heard. Like, that's the beauty of covering the sport and this team. It's because anything that gets out, it's like page one news now.
Right.
And so I'm like just excited to get out there and see the fellows. Obviously, very excited for Chadwick as well. My punter.
Yes, Grant Chadwick. Don't forget the name. LSU's new punter.
Hopefully you don't have to know it.
Hopefully it's just kind of silent and he's able to take care of business, and it's not going to be it's funny how big of a storyline that was for us during fall camp. Like every single day when we sat down and did our practice recap, it was, God, the punt group looked bad again today. Mm-hmm. It's still, it still does not look the way you think it's supposed to, and then it showed up during the season. So if that's something that can finally be taken care of and handled, it would be very nice.
Carl Parker, also interesting. That's Fonzarelli. That's who he has as his impact guy. And like you saw it in flashes, whatever you had to have him, he was the guy because you were looking for like bodies at that point in the wide receiver room because Chris Hilton couldn't stay healthy, and you were trying to like figure out that one deep threat that you could find on the football field. Like that, you had the Jelani Watkins wasn't healthy,
right?
And then you had other guys that you were looking around going like you were like I got C.J. Hilton.
C.J. Daniels,
Chris Hilton.
Kyron Lacey was going with injuries here and there. And then somebody to step up.
Yeah, you saw Kyle Parker come and score a touchdown, and then he obviously like gutted it out just to be able to play multiple times and ended up ending his season. But I would like to see him get run, but there's so many guys that they brought in. Like, it'll be interesting to see that dynamic. There's only one football.
Yes, there's only one. Another position group, Sabiron brings it up in the chat. Jordan Gilbert better step his game up or he won't have a place to play this year. That safety room is another one to keep an eye on because there's some talent. You brought in a Tamarcus Cooley, but then you still got Deshaun Spears. You brought in some freshmen like CJ Jim Colley, Jace Thomas, some different guys in that room. Mansour Delane, obviously seeing where he slides in. Javian Toviano is a guy to keep an eye on. But Deshaun Spears, to me, if he can kind of step up and be that guy that you expected when you saw him in spring football last year and throughout fall camp, where you saw the flashes and the potential. Now he's got a year that he spent in the weight room, the nutrition program, on the field where he got opportunities to play. If he can make that next step and be the guy, it'll be huge for LSU, because safety is a spot that over the last couple of seasons has left a lot to be desired since you lost Jarg Bernard Converse and Jay Ward. Since that season in 2022, you really haven't seen it get put together at that spot. Whether it's Sage Ryan playing corner and safety, it's Major Burns, just different guys. Obviously the loss of Greg Brooks at safety was a massive hit. Obviously still continue to pray for him. But you haven't been able to put anything together in that room from that position group since 2022. And this season, hopefully you're able to see something different. Whether it's Deshaun Spears stepping up, Jordan Gilbert making, a stand, or Tamarcus Cooley coming in and being the guy. We'll see, but that's another group to keep an eye on and we'll look at tomorrow. We're going to have bodies out there. Obviously, us three will be there, and we're going to have some photographers and videographers there as well, part of our content team, to take care of business and to get some stuff out for all of you guys. So we're gonna enjoy ourselves while we're out there, but there's a lot to look at. There's a lot of storylines to be focused on, and this is a big, like I said, a huge spring camp for Brian Kelly and LSU, because the expectations going into next season are playoff or bust, like we said.
God, you made some moves in the portal just to see the too deep of this now.
Right.
Like, looking through it, you got obviously it feels like a positions of need, like Tamarcus Cooley, he's coming in. Mansour Delane, we haven't even talked about yet.
Right.
And I think that position, where Delane ends up, is going to tell you a lot about how that safety room works. It's how it works itself out. Because I think a lot of people last year, not the biggest Jordan Gilbert fans.
Right.
I think it came out after the year that he was playing hurt pretty much the entire year. People aren't quick to give excuses away because it didn't look great, but he's gutting it out for you because you didn't have anybody else to play.
Yeah.
But if you can have DJ Pickett and kind of take up and step into that cornerback one, and you have Ashton Stamps on the other side, you see Mansour Delane kind of move to that safety spot. But it feels nice just to have options.
Yes.
Last year you had Gilbert out there with one shoulder, it was just dangling by his arm, by his side.
Well, and last year you need a corner, you're moving Sage there. You need a safety, you're moving him back to safety.
Oh.
Now
we're cross-training him.
Right, now you've got options where if you need Mansour Delane to step in and be a cornerback, he can do that. But if the safety room isn't what you hope, he can play there. And vice versa, whether it's DJ Pickett. DJ Pickett can probably play both, but you're hoping he comes in and he's lockdown corner, all signs, the expectations are for him to be. He can play both. Jakeem Jackson, you're hoping to come in and be a real player at corner. Ashton Stamps and Christian said yesterday, PJ Woodland, some guys that got really good experience last year, but have a real opportunity to step up and be big-time impact players for LSU this season. Coming up, Spectrum WellCare people reporting Jakeem Jackson's looking solid. If y'all saw the video that we shared, that he put out on Twitter, we shared it on our Twitter or our X. He was one-on-one with Nick Anderson, gets the pass breakup, ends up with the football in his hands. So this defensive backfield, this is probably since 2022. And I would go to say this is probably the deepest defensive backfield that LSU's had under Brian Kelly. 2022 was just so talented because you hit on a lot of transfer portal guys. When you're talking about Jarg Bernard Converse, Mekhi Garner, you still had Jay Ward, Greg Brooks, Joe Fouché. But when you're looking at this room, there's so many different dynamics, whether it's freshmen, transfers in, guys that are returning from last year. The cream is going to rise to the top, and obviously to trust Blake Baker and his team to make the right moves there. The defense is going to have a lot of eyes on it because, like I said, they made a jump from 23 to 24. What's it going to look like from 24 to 25, especially with the expectations that are had ahead of the season? So I'm excited to get out there tomorrow and get a look at it and be able to come back and report to you guys right after practice, just to see exactly what some of the things that stood out. So we will be there tomorrow. Don't forget, row back. You see the dog. Where's it at? On this shoulder.
Oof.
Pet that dog.
Pet that dog.
Row back, 20% off with our code TIGERS, TIGERS. Go check out the website. 20% off with a first-time email. They've got great, obviously all types of, outfits, whether it's a quarter zip, a jacket, a polo, the whole deal. They've got the plain stuff, but their LSU gear, LSU merch is top of the line. Me and Lloyd both have it on. Christian didn't want to rock it today. That was too many days in a row, I think.
Yeah.
He finally needed to wash it after his date last night. Christian, we're going to go ahead and get into that right now.
Okay.
So how did it go with our frozen yogurt Minchie's date?
It was not Minchie's.
Okay, not Minchie's.
I don't know what it was.
Can you tell us where it was now that it's over and we can't show up?
No, I forgot. It was a
So
frozen
obviously-
yogurt, like, fruit place that, like,
Okay.
it puts, like, the fruit in the frozen yogurt. It was good. It was out by, I don't know. That's where she lives. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. I think we'll move on from there.
Yeah.
She lives far. She lives by, no, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Just
fine.
continue. It was a good date?
Yeah.
You hang out again tonight?
No,
Okay.
got to show up like Zion.
Yeah.
I'll show up
Load
at the end of the
management.
week.
No back-to-back.
Right.
Yeah, the load management.
Yeah.
I see what y'all meant now. I didn't really know what y'all meant yesterday. Like with the,
Yeah.
oh, you're doing this too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But I did want to take her, like, this was our first, like, time going somewhere.
Okay.
Right,
So,
that's what
I
I'm saying.
wanted to
She
get-
knows what
I
she's
wanted to
doing.
get that
You
out the
don't
way.
know what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
But now you
Yeah.
understand.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you?
All right, at the end of the week, though, I'll keep y'all updated.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that'll be date number 2.
2.
4?
4.
4.
Look at him. He's getting...
Hey, hanging out again tonight. Did y'all go anywhere after the ice cream place, or was it go to your separate ways?
Did y'all drive separate or you pick her
We
up?
hung out after the ice cream.
Yeah.
No, I drove her. Well, okay, this is what we did. I went to her house, we made pizza, and then we went and did the ice cream
yeah,
deal.
you're
And then
fucked.
we came back. Yeah, I've been deep.
Yeah. Did you meet her parents yet?
Evan Brown, Counterculture.
Was
Was it Counterculture?
what is that? Oh, yeah, that's it. Oh, that,
dude. You got
who was that?
Evan Brown.
All right, I don't want to meet you, Evan Brown. Don't find me.
We're gonna
You go there, you frequent the place.
Great.
Works there.
Counterculture is great. They've
Yeah,
got
it's
sandwiches
good.
as well. The sandwiches are good.
Okay.
You can get the cheddar jalapeno bread.
Okay.
Oh, remember
Really good.
who was Dubes?
Yes, he worked at Counterculture.
He worked at Counterculture.
We had a photographer that worked with
Wow.
us that also worked at Counterculture.
Must
Yeah,
be the
nice spot. It is a good
Nice.
spot.
Yeah.
Iverstein's used to be right there by it.
Mm-hmm. They moved. Now
Yeah.
they're closer.
They are. But no, that's awesome. Good job. Congratulations, Christian. We're happy for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're back on the
When's
injured
the
list.
wedding?
you. Yeah, when are you gonna propose?
I don't know.
Did
I
you get a
got
ring already?
no.
I'm kidding. But
I know.
I'm glad you went and picked her up.
Yeah. Yes! Yes! Yes!
Dude, that's the
Yes.
fastest, fastest I've ever seen you move.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Finally.
That was
It's like
unbelievable.
we're like 10-1, down 10-1. I got 9
You
more
gotta
points
come
back
Oh,
up.
Rico's in the chat. Rico, nice to see you again. He says, "You want more viewers? I come and help."
There we go.
And then he said, "Lloyd, ask the little Padre Gringo if he smashed."
That's good material.
No. I got to be respectful.
That's right. Mother raised you right.
Yeah.
Yes. Congrats. Good job, mother. As he gives us a recap of his date
Yeah.
live.
Well, she lives on 1924. Oh.
Nice.
Well, this is an interesting story that's going to unfold. You're going to break the hearts of hundreds
Yes.
and hundreds.
We did watch the Despicable Me 4 movie. That movie, not enough minions in that movie.
Oh, you got hot takes on this?
Yeah, it really wasn't that good.
How did we land on Despicable Me 4?
That was the movie we watched for like
All the options.
45 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Only 45 minutes of the
Turn
movie.
it off. We turned it off. It was bad.
Oh.
It was shitty. Like I was disappointed.
Yeah, what's the fourth one?
I know.
The
I
fourth
can't-
movies are very
Great
rarely.
pick,
I couldn't
though.
believe how bad it was. Like not enough minions. You can't go wrong with the minions. The minions
This
make
is
the
Christian,
movies
like,
good.
watch this girl probably wants to, like, hold hands or something. Like, where the fucking minions? in this movie? Like, turn this shit off. I'm watching the second one.
Yeah, what are we doing? Isn't there just a movie about minions?
It worked
There's
out. I
two.
think so.
Yeah, there you
I've
go.
seen both.
That's unbelievable.
Good for you, man.
That's awesome. Congratulations,
Roger
Christian.
Ebert over there.
Breaking down Despicable Me while she's just trying to enjoy the movie with
Put
you.
her feet on you.
Where are the minions at? That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you for the update, Christian. We're going to continue to check in, obviously. LSU Athletics made an announcement yesterday. The brand. They announced, LSU Athletics announced the launch of the brand, which will unify multiple units of the department to create the ultimate hub for student athlete and team brand elevation and innovation. Located on the newly renovated third floor of Tiger Stadium South, student athletes and athletic personnel will have access to LSU's unrivaled brand building resources, from communications and social media to photo and design to do video and podcast to NIL and marketing. Obviously, to me, this all feels like kind of an NIL branch. Here is the brand, which I love the name. I think like we've said, LSU is the premier brand in college athletics. And so, great name. Here's the little video trailer they have.
Not going to play audio because we'll get flagged.
Yes, but, just showing off the sights and sounds of
even
the greatest university.
Yeah, even this is a byproduct of like what they can do.
Yes.
Whenever you're seeing the power of video and how you can build a brand through LSU. So you have Shaquille O'Neal narrate it.
Right.
That's pretty powerful in itself. So even they're highlighting all of the things that LSU can kind of help you along the way. Like Flage's rapping, you have Paul Skeens on game day, Livy Dunn on game day, Jaden Daniels winning a Heisman. Like
Mondo to play.
It's hard to find another brand that is as well rounded as LSU is at the moment.
Yeah, no, there's not. We've said this is the premier brand in college athletics. And this video just kind of encapsulates it all. So sometimes you kind of forget just the extent, and this is pretty awesome. And this is a step in the right direction NIL wise for LSU, because to me this was the part of NIL LSU was always going to be successful at.
Yeah,
the building the brand of the athlete. And I think when I thought of NIL originally, I thought LSU was going to be so good because this is the best college in the country to build a brand. When you think about Angel Reese, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Livy Dunn, Flau'jae Johnson, just from the last decade, Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, Haley Bryant, just go through the list. This was the premier spot to build a brand. But they fell behind because it became pay-for-play rather than brand building. And so the brand, to me, looks, awesome because LSU has some of the best photographers, video. Everyone wanted to be LSU's video team from 2019. The videos that were coming out before every game from practices, they still put out great video content.
Well, now they have their own docuseries with LSU baseball has like the powerhouse, LSU gymnastics has to climb, football did the path, and that comes on ESPNU now.
Yes.
All of these things are extremely successful, and it's been, I don't know of other universities that are doing it on this scale of covering an inside look of the baseball team when you get to basically go through a season with them. Or the same thing with football where it was very much in detail.
Yes.
And they almost had to scale it back because you were getting to see too much. And so that's how good this, the videographer team, obviously pictures and everything they do, social, they have all of that. So they have a podcast room. This is exactly what NIL was intended to be. But you saw how it kind of changed a little bit in terms of just come to school here and we'll pay you to do it.
Right.
But you still have to be able to sell. This is more probably selling a parent at least or somebody to where if you want to get into a different side of media, you have that opportunity. But also, if you come to LSU, if you're the player you think you are, and we think you are, you can be a star.
Yeah, no, a superstar.
It's
here's why: Flau'jae Johnson, Angel Reese, Joe Burrow, Jaden, Dylan Cruz, Paul Skeens, Livy Dunn.
But the way that you Burrow, obviously probably the greatest single season of all time in LSU history. But I think the way that he was branded during it helped elevate him to a different stratosphere in terms of who he is, because he's not I would say the most personable, it seems very much to himself, and he's focused on football or whatever. But that kind of got spun on its head a little bit whenever you got more coverage of him. You got to see kind of the insight into him, and I think that's kind of developed who he is as a person too.
Yes, 100%. And And I think in the direction NIL is moving with the new revenue sharing aspect and kind of getting away from the collectives and all these ulterior things, these brands coming in and what's the guy's name from Michigan? What was his name? The billionaire that was married to a Michigan alum. Yes, Larry Ellison. The Larry Ellisons being kind of removed from the sport somewhat, the above board aspect. If they're moving towards the revenue sharing world, this is the part that's going to be highlighted the most. The brand building, the superstar building. That's the direction it may move. LSU is going to be sitting in a pretty good spot when it does so, if it does so. So it's going to be nice to see kind of what comes out of it, because to me, the Path, the LSU kind of docuseries, that 2022 version of the Path was probably one of my favorite things to watch ever.
It was like must watch.
It
felt like Hard Knocks.
Yes. Just the access, especially the way they did it, where obviously I watched the game on Saturday, and then on Monday I knew I was going to get the behind the scenes of the whole week leading up. So after that game against Alabama, when they, win this game first time in a decade and all the excitement, I got to sit down
and relive it
in
a different way.
And it was the best. And if LSU can continue to do that and build upon it with this brand, there's not going to be another university that's going to be better to be a fan of. Just the access, the different types of photo, video, podcast, everything with the athletes, with the coaches. It's awesome.
And you'll continue to see LSU, like, this is a way that you won't fall behind.
Yes.
Like, you'll be at least at the forefront of people's minds, because you want to be like one of those universities that's mentioned, whether you're not if you're not a perennial national championship, but you're in the conversation, you always want to be one of those brands that's at least cool.
Right.
Like, that it'll still get you in the door. And Oregon was successful doing that with their brand and the way that
Yes.
they marketed themselves. Like, they had 18 different uniforms, and players thought that was cool. So Oregon got an opportunity. That's how they rebranded themselves. And for LSU, you get to capitalize on these three letters because you're already considered a very cool university because of the personas here. And so you could continue to build that up, and you'll never fall out of out of the spotlight in terms of what LSU is bringing to the table, whether it be content-wise or what they're putting on the field.
Yes. Zach Greenwell, LSU Senior Associate AD for External Affairs, said LSU is not just one of the premier brands in college athletics. It's the brand when it comes to transcending sports and creating a transformative impact on our student athletes. In order to continue to attract elite talent in this new era of college athletics, it's vital that we offer our student athletes the greatest brand building resources in the country so that they can maximize their NIL opportunities and leave here the best professionals possible. The brand positions us to do just that. I believe wholeheartedly that our staff has the best combination of talent and workplace culture in the nation. Our mission every day is to showcase the power of the LSU brand for our university, athletic department, and student athletes, and to find innovative ways to take it to new heights. That says it all right there. I think that if this is the direction NIL is going to move kind of away from these collective pay-for-play types of things, and it's going to go towards a brand-building atmosphere, which I think was the idea at first when you talked about NIL, was the opportunities that athletes weren't able to take advantage of, being able to take advantage of those, and it kind of got away from that, obviously, with the collectives, with Texas A&M in that first recruiting class, and then what it's become with the Bryce Underwood Michigan deal and everything in between. If it's going to move towards the world of brand building, I would have to agree with the LSU Associate AD for External Affairs and say, I agree. This is exactly what LSU is set up to be the best at, because it's the flagship university in a state that has such a unique culture and such a strong fan base and support system that it's going to be so hard for it to not work when you're talking about building a brand. Because I still see LSU fans diving behind former LSU athletes in their professional arenas, whether it's women's basketball, men's basketball, football, baseball, the whole thing, that support doesn't stop. And that's what makes LSU different. And so if they're able to fully grab a hold of this like it appears they're doing with the brand, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, but look at what LSU fans did for, like, I'm sure the Bengals are like, what is happening?
Right.
Whenever you took Joe Burrow and then you had Jamar Chase and you see like this.
Baton Rouge North.
Right, where you see like I'm sure like a pop of the whatever, like the TV ratings were like, what are they watching in Louisiana? Like, why are they doing this? Like, no, once you come to LSU and you establish that like as one of the best players of all time, like that doesn't leave.
Right.
Like you're LSU forever. And so where Joe Burrow goes, LSU fans go. Where Jamar goes, LSU fans go. Jaden Daniels, how many people watch the Commanders? Right. Like you're still seeing like how many people are watching Paul Skeens?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen if he stays at Air Force. Dylan Cruz, like people are still continuing to watch his career because he was at LSU, won a national championship that would have been probably the best player to ever do it at LSU. If you like that, now it's just up to debate between him and Skeens.
Yeah,
like
his teammate.
And so you get to they go 1-2,
right?
And you continue to watch like how their careers change in their arc, and like now people are fans of the Pittsburgh like Pirates and the. What are they? The Nationals.
Yeah, Washington Nationals.
I was going down the list of
right.
the Washington teams when name changes and Senators,
and
Redskins.
Outside of these stars, think about a guy like Cade Beloso.
Yeah.
Who came to LSU, performed the way he did. Obviously, the professional career, isn't there.
He didn't even try.
But he's going to be a superstar in the city of Baton Rouge.
And he didn't try because he didn't have to.
Right.
Like, I'm set for life.
Set. The same, a guy like Alex Milazzo. Like, these are guys that are going to be superstars in this city, around this university, forever. And Matthew Conkle makes a great point in the chat. And he says, what can make you different is some Roback gear. Get 20% off with your first purchase now with promo code Tigers. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. But
those joggers, hoodies, shorts.
The whole nine. But that's what makes LSU different. And that's why I have a love for this university more than just growing up here and being kind of forced into it as a child, just being born into an LSU family.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
But as I've grown up, the love has only grown because of what I've witnessed. And that's why, to me, and this is kind of going to go in a different direction, it's laughable to see the way Derek Carr has handled the things in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Because this is a state, and New Orleans is a city, that will love you if you love it. If you enshrine yourself into the culture, whether it's Mardi Gras, it's the food. I mean, Derek Carr, we go back. What was his first meal in New Orleans? Does anybody remember?
I do.
What was it?
Chipotle.
He went to Chipotle. He moved to New Orleans, and his first meal in the city was Chipotle. You look at Mardi Gras. How many times did you see Derek Carr's face outside of the big one on that float?
Right.
How many times
Never.
did you see it? Super Bowl weekend, Christian. How many times did you see Derek Carr?
I didn't see him once.
Did you see Jameis Winston?
Yeah.
Every single day. Mardi Gras, did you see Jameis Winston?
Yeah.
Every single. Why is Jameis Winston loved in New Orleans? Because he has completely immersed himself in the culture of that city.
Like, Jameis could do no wrong.
Right.
Even if he were to come back, people would welcome him with open arms.
Right.
Like, would love to have him.
And he never performed well on the football field.
No, nobody gives a shit.
Right. And so Derek Carr has the easiest hack in the world. Buddy, you don't have to play good if you make them love you.
Right. And now it's too late.
And it's too far gone now.
Because between, like, we'll get into the Saints conversation because I don't know if they've made really any moves. And then that's another instance of Derek Carr, like, trying to restructure, and he could have done some different things under the cap to be able to help LSU in the short term. I guess the way that they restructure it does help LSU move some cap money around, but there was definitely an avenue in which he could have ingratiated himself into the city and shown like a little bit of love back by giving money back. Like, you're not playing. You're hurt constantly, and then you blame other people when you are playing. Like, you're just a kind of a whiny bitch, and that's how people portray you. Because he hasn't actually, when he has played, hasn't been terrible.
No,
like the numbers aren't that bad, but it's just the fact that nobody can fucking stand you.
Yes,
like because you handled this piss poor, and you have Jameis that can come in and throw 3 interceptions, but he'll take the blame and he'll give a speech and he'll go out and like he's not scared to run from any of it, and you're just like, well, that's still our guy,
right? Yeah, no, and
like Drew Brees did the same thing.
Yes. It's so
and he lied about it, but it worked.
It's so simple. And to me, Derek Carr has it easier than all of them because he's got in my opinion, one of the best kind of representatives of this state and these cities on his team in Tyrann Mathieu.
He's giving money back.
He can sit down and just say, hey, Tyrann, what do I need to do? How can I maneuver and kind of make this work for me? And Tyrann will be like, look, go to Mardi Gras, enjoy the meals at the restaurants in the city, talk about New Orleans and how great it is, all these different things that make it different. Go to Super Bowl weekend when it's here, and
he didn't do it. Stop going to California.
Yes, like be in the city. And Rico says Jameis is perfect New Orleans. It talks about the crab legs.
Yeah, that's an unfair shot.
It is.
Jameis was given those.
He received a gift of crab legs.
Yeah, he thought they were already thought it was gratis.
Yes. But to go on the Saints topic, I'm so confused by their thought process. Like, I like the decision to extend Chase Young, but for so many years, you've rejected the idea of extending your young talent to hold on to some sort of semblance of a fake present that you thought you had with these older guys. Like, to me, Trey Hendrickson is the perfect example. Like, he was what you just did with Chase Young, you should have done with him years ago, and you wouldn't be in this situation now where you have no edge rusher and you have to spend this amount of money on Chase Young, who really didn't perform all that well for you. Now you're hoping he can grow and kind of develop in and make something happen.
He flashed.
Definitely flashed. You let Paulson Adebo leave. He's headed to the Giants. Obviously, you trade away Marshawn Lattimore, so now your cornerback room is what? Kool-Aid McKinstry and Alante Taylor? You know?
Alante Taylor, Kool-Aid, yeah. I mean, it's hard to keep Paulson Adebo because of the way your cap is structured.
Right.
Where he gets 3 years, $54 million. Like, people were, like, you're not going to win a bidding war.
No.
And you would hope to get, like, you're kind of in the market of asking for a hometown discount. You drafted him third-round pick.
Right.
Like, you would think maybe he wants to continue to play here, but I don't know what's very attractive about playing in New Orleans right now, because you can't say you're a title contender, and you have guys that have been here long term or from here that will take the discount. Like, Cam Jordan wants to play his entire career at one place. Demario Davis considers himself a Saint, and so Alvin Kamara, like, they all want to be here because of what the city is and what it means to them, because they feel like they're from here now.
Right.
Like, Tyrann Mathieu, obviously from New Orleans, like, gets it. And to have guys like Carr come in and be like, no, I'm not playing that game at all. Like, that's where the rift is between, like, people wanting the Saints to do well, and then you look at the front office where, all right, if I can't point at Derek Carr, I'm pointing to Mickey Loomis.
Right.
And that's where they are right now. Like, it feels like nobody will really truly believe in the Saints as, like, from a fan base perspective until Mickey leaves.
Yes.
Like, that's what everybody's holding out hope for. And I don't see that ever happening until he is 6 feet under.
Right.
Like, he's holding on to this job for as long as he can.
As long as possible.
And that's what makes it hard to root for the Saints when you see how this is kind of, I guess, mismanaged in a sense, because it really just points back to the Carr signing. Whenever you did that, because Sean Payton leaves, I don't think people were upset about Dennis Allen being promoted to head coach. You felt like you wanted to hold on to something that was already being built, and you have that kind of, okay, let's run it back, but one of our guys, somebody that you had in the building already, and that turned out to be a massive flop because he's not a good coach. Great defensive guy. Like, he'll be a good coordinator in the league again. Right. There's a reason people were sprinting to, like, have him back.
Yes.
But your future and how, like, they have to run it back to what they did in 2017 in the draft.
Yeah.
You have to hit on 5 picks.
Yeah, you have to hit home run after home run.
And I don't know how much faith that, like, people have in what they're going to do on draft day.
None. I would say zero. Unless they do it. Like, that's the only way. There's no hope or faith.
Because they have hit on, like, picks under Loomis and Doug Ireland, like, or what's his
Jeff
name?
Ireland.
Jeff Ireland. Doug Ireland, shout out Northwestern State. Jeff Ireland, which I didn't think Jeff Ireland was necessarily the best hire either, because he was coming from the Dolphins where they weren't very good, and he kind of always fell into a job. Saints hire him, and he's still here, and you have a run of great draft picks, and then you still see them walk.
Yep.
Like, Kamara's the only one left from that draft class.
I know. And there's been, surprise that he hasn't left because of the position you've put the franchise in.
I think they would who do you think that they take at 9? Like, what if they go? Who's that?
McMillan, the receiver from Arizona, I think is probably pretty high on the list. I'm trying to think what else.
Because you might have to get a receiver for. I don't know what Chris Olave is long for this life.
Right. I think the
concussions are adding up.
The defensive tackle from Michigan,
the edge from Georgia.
Yep. There's some different names.
Will Johnson.
Yeah, the corner from Michigan.
Which would actually make sense because
you no longer have Paulson Adebo.
Hopefully, the Travis Hunter mock draft from a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Drops to 9. I
think that's going to be an indicator for how bought in people are because it could be twofold. Do you want to try to win now and draft somebody like if Ashton Genty's there and they take him? I think people would be excited, but then it doesn't really make sense considering you just paid Kamara.
Right.
So you have to allocate those resources somewhere else. And it depends on who falls to you because you're slowly kind of rebuilding the offensive line. It wasn't as bad as people thought last year.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to continue to bolster that side of it. But you have aging stars everywhere. Like you need help at every position.
You need youth.
Shouldn't have let Braun walk.
You need a future. Do what?
Should have let Braun walk.
Right.
Run down on kick.
Yeah. No, I mean, and one of the situations that kind of makes New Orleans worse is when you look at the Jets and kind of the position they were in. Where they were in an eerily similar situation to New Orleans. But they go get their guy in Aaron Glenn. They get rid of Aaron Rodgers, and they just went out and signed Justin Fields. Now, if the Fields experiment works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But they are at least injecting new life into their franchise with a guy like Aaron Glenn and allowing him to get a fresh start as well as Justin Fields, who's coming in to be paired with his former college receiver, Garrett Wilson. That's kind of the situation. If you're a Saints fan, like you are, Christian, is that not what you wanted when you thought about going into this offseason? Was a fresh start and a clean slate?
With a new coach?
Yeah. The one problem is you still have that gray cloud over your head. But, no, I do like the fresh start. I think certain head coaches can get to Mickey, and hopefully Kellen Moore's that guy. Sean Payton did, and had success. Should have had more than one Super Bowl, but we don't need to talk about that right now. But, yeah, hopefully Kellen Moore becomes that guy to where, he kind of pushes Mickey around, and it's not Mickey telling him what to do.
Kellen Moore has that in the
Yeah,
function.
no, I mean, I would love it. But to me right now, signs are kind of pointing to the opposite.
Yeah.
Because when Kellen Moore came out and said, what did he say? That he took the job expecting Derek Carr to be his quarterback, that sounded like a fed line through the earpiece from the front office. Like Mickey, has got a gun to the back of his head saying, hey, you have to say this.
Right. This is what you should say.
This is the line. This is the script. You took this job expecting Derek Carr because he's my guy.
Yeah, because, he was very non-committal during his introductory press conference about it. Now he's like, I read the quote yesterday. It didn't inspire a lot of hope.
No.
And you don't have Taysom Hill. He's coming off another ACL. I don't know how much you can squeeze from that rock anymore, but he continues to defy time, space, age, everything.
Yes.
So I don't know what they do.
Yep, me neither. But it's a crappy situation.
Ah.
And every single day we're brought to you by Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. 225-776-2431. 225-776-2431. That's the phone number. There's no social media, no website. So call that number, mention the Culotta Show, get 15% off if you've got your plumbing issues or whatever. Or if you're just feeling crappy, I'm sure they would love to just talk to you and be upset about the Saints.
Kicking about the Saints. LSU.
And the crappy situation the Saints are in.
If you get arrested, you might fire off, your one phone call might be to Barker Brothers because you just have the number memorized.
It's right there, 225-776-2431. Hey, Blake, buddy, I need you to get me out of the situation. It's pretty crappy.
Bad plumbing situation.
Bad plumbing situation. I'm stuck.
Or you have
888-8888. That's probably the best
pretty
call.
Easy, too.
Yeah, 888-8888. Just pound 8.
I'm sure that,
But speaking of 8.
Get you in touch with somebody that can help.
Yeah, speaking of 8, we're making it right up here to 8 o'clock. So we're going to take a quick break, get some of these commercials in, some of these ad dollars, ad revenue. We're going to be back here for more here in hour number 2. Red Stick Sports.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they are also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by Hebert's Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, Hebert's Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. Hebert's can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. Hebert's Lawn Maintenance.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Well, the Oscar Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
48 Insurance Agency, established in 1946, helping you with your home, auto, commercial, life, and health insurance needs. Around in Baton Rouge at 4275 Government Street and online at 48agency.com. Whatever insurance you're in the market for, home, auto, commercial, contractors, life, and health, get in touch with 48 Insurance Agency, 48agency.com, or give them a call at 225-383-0682. 48 Agency.
Get Gordon. And get it done. Yeah, everybody know Gordon in a 225. And he done link with Big Four. He got buku ties, Ferrari sliding, flying in a new coupe ride. And every time I ride by, I see a brand new sign. I'm with Gordon, I know that he gon' get it done. Whether it's a big truck crash or a hit and run, recovery funds, he fighting to get a ton. Mike Epps, man, we all about the Benjamin. Handling injuries, man, are you kidding me? Gordon McKernan, that's champion energy. Yeah, family man with a family plan. Get Gordon, he gon' fix it like a handyman. Get Gordon, and get it done.
Welcome to Trifecta.
Trifecta Sports Therapy in Baton Rouge. Recover, repair, restore. At Trifecta, they believe in total body wellness. Trifecta gets the body back to its full potential. Whether you're a youth or pro athlete, a pre or postnatal mom, or if you lead an active lifestyle or a senior citizen, Trifecta has the class, the sports massage, the sports therapist, the stretch therapist, or the equipment like infrared sauna, cold plunges, and golf simulators to find your best. Find Trifecta online at trifectasportstherapy.com or check out the beautiful facility today, 8221 Goodwood. Trifecta Sports Therapy.
Hey, Tiger fans, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit us, Tom and Wright Granning, at Go Mart on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip.
Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on your left.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill?
That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, Chino. Cut my headphones up, bro. Yeah, right there. Where they at? Now I'm focused on getting deposits. Evil in the way, now I'm just driving around it. They said I need a soul searching, I already found it. I unlocked my other side, now I'm sounding astounded. Drive by and let it ride like a whip in a Tesla. Pressure never fazed me, cause I'm bigger than pressure. I'm on my grind, bullshit, can't fit in my schedule. I'ma do what's best with me, you can keep all your lectures. Spend the summer stacking bread, might be gone to November. Pulling up like Trey Young just to freeze up December. I got niggas on the block like traditional sinners. OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners. I took a break for a
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 getting kicked off here. We have lost the child. The young man has left his chair barren and empty as he heads off to Louisiana State University to try to get an education.
The brand.
Yes, the brand. Christian is a part of it. LSU baseball tonight.
The powerhouse
Takes on Xavier in Alec Box Stadium. First pitch is at 6:30 this evening. Xavier is 7-9 on the season. Obviously, LSU 16-1 on an 11-game win streak, looking to make it 12 as they have SEC play starting up this weekend. Missouri traveling here to Baton Rouge. The Tigers still the number 1 ranked team in the D1 baseball rankings. Tonight, obviously, there's no announcement on who will be the midweek starter. We know the weekend starters. We know the whole deal. Lloyd, who do you expect to get the baseball tonight for the Tigers?
That is where LSU baseball, as it was a little bit more developed than they were last year. We're starting to see some of these people like fall into roles that it feels like they're carving out for themselves, at least at this moment. Because at some point, maybe before the year, you thought it could have been William Smith that would be in this role. But you continue to see like Connor Ware come out and dominate. He's only thrown 9 innings, but whenever he's in this spot, it feels like he's very comfortable in it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him get the ball and you kind of go by committee after that. And you would hope that LSU can score against a Xavier baseball team that is not the best of the bunch. And if that is the case, then you'll be able to get some guys in, get guys like Cooper Williams, Dalton Beck, Maverick Rizzi, Cade Woods, some of those guys that you want to continue to see develop and kind of find their way to be able to have a role in the baseball team. Because when you look at who has been kind of relied upon, it's Evans, Cowan, Schmidt, Anderson, Ianson, Shores, and then you have Connor Ware that you can come in and throw. But like the Jacob Myers, the DJ Primos, Jaden Newt,
Cooper Williams.
Yes, those guys, Grant Fontenot. Like those are the guys that you're trying to see kind of take a step up and be able to carve out a role for themselves. So that would be the one thing to look for just from a pitching perspective, because you're going against the Xavier team that is hitting .229 this year as a team, 13 home runs, 15 steals, and 18 attempts, 21 doubles. So not crazy numbers. And the pitching staff has a 7.08 ERA, 111 strikeouts, 134 innings. And their best player is Carter Hendrickson, batting .321, 3 homers, 15 RBI. Don't let him beat you.
Yep.
So that is kind of, when you see a 7 ERA, you feel good about it, especially where LSU baseball is, and you don't have this big look-ahead spot. I know it's SEC play that's starting, but when you look at other matchups around the country, you're not as concerned with LSU matching up against Missouri, because around the SEC, Florida at Tennessee, number 7 Florida at number 2 Tennessee.
Big one.
Number 17 Alabama at number 19 Texas A&M. A&M is struggling.
Yes.
Number 16 Vanderbilt at number 25 Auburn. Number 3 Arkansas at number 13 Ole Miss. Number 11 Texas at Mississippi State. Number 12 Oklahoma at South Carolina. Kentucky at number 4 Georgia. So a lot of ranked teams in the SEC.
league is stacked.
I mean, that's 1, 2,
How's
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Texas
9,
A&M
10,
is still
11,
ranked?
12 if you count LSU. 12 teams
Yep.
in the top 25.
Wow. What's
So,
Texas A&M at right now? Where are they
They're
ranked?
19.
Surprised that they're still in it because it's been.
I think they were ranked 1 in the country to start the year. So it's been quite the fall from grace. They lost. They
lost to New Mexico State the other night.
Grovac.
Yes.
He's out for the year, and it seems like after that they've kind of haven't been able to put the pieces back together. But like I said, and it feels like you do know your LSU lineup from pretty much top to bottom now. When you look at like the batting order and who's going to play, there's one real question mark, maybe 2, whether whoever plays third.
Yeah.
Broswell.
Reeves.
And then at catcher, this is a game where you can work in a Cade Arambidi to kind of get your confidence back, feel right behind the dish, because he is as talented as anybody in the country when it comes to catching. Like Jay was talking about him yesterday. It's like, that's somebody you don't get on campus. Like, you don't get catchers that highly rated on campus. So it's like, yes, he's a freshman. There's going to be some spots where he knows he didn't play well, but I'm not going to stop putting him out there. You don't just have – you're not going to have Luis catch all 56.
That does not
It doesn't work that way.
No.
And so it might be an opportunity for Aaron B to get some playing time, whether it be at the front, middle, or back. And then Priester has gotten a little bit of run. He continues to struggle at the plate. And then I would imagine it'll be Brown in right, Stanfield center, and Curiel in left. And then you'll probably see a litany of guys come in, whether it be Pearson, if he's not DHing, or Pearson,
Fry.
if he is DHing, Big Pearson.
Yep.
Wants to get him some. We talked about him yesterday too. He's like, I mean, it's hard. He keeps getting hit, so I can't stop putting him in.
Right.
And it's a funny little dynamic because he gets to see 5 pitches, gets a hit, and then gets the subbed out for. He doesn't make it past first very often. So you like come in and do your job and get out of here. He's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like
what
you
a
get
good
to
time.
basically you get to play softball.
Literally.
The beer league it, and because I did ask him, I was like, is there a chance we ever see him? You know, I want to see if he can move like his brother around the base. He goes, I kept him in one time.
Yep.
And he, first base, left him in, couldn't get him to score from first. Like first to third, we're working on it.
Yep.
But you can
Getting
see
there.
that, he's an athlete. And
Yes.
the way that he continues to swing it, I think
Swing that
he'll
bat.
continue to get appearances. And after that, like, you feel very good about the cornerstones you have in this lineup, whether it be Bear Jones, Milam, like Stanfield playing the way he is right now. Obviously, Curiel, where you're starting it.
Right.
And then whoever's in
Dickinson.
right, Pearson or Brown, like both swinging it well. Fry, whenever he gets an opportunity, you can tell that he has pop in the bat and he can roll a little bit. And Luis has been fine.
Right.
Like, he finally gets one off the scoreboard.
Right.
So you'd like to see him be able to get those power numbers up, because we were having this conversation a little bit of what if Bear didn't come back? Like,
Yeah.
what would the lineup look like? And Jay Mitch and Mike were like, I don't know, because this thing is kind of built around him, the way this lineup is constructed. And you went to go get Luis Hernandez because of the power numbers that you saw. You went to go get Dickinson because you saw some pop in the bat, but he wasn't going to hit 30. And now the way that they're pitching to Bear Jones and the people that you have before and after him, like, that's the whole basis of LSU and how they're rolling right now, because Bear Jones and him being so selective at the plate and not minding walking, and then Dickinson being as hot as he is behind him, it's pretty much a good recipe whenever Curiel in front of him is
Just
either
get on
walking or
base
getting
every
a hit.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, though, to kind of just think about if Bear Jones wasn't on the team. I guess I don't know how they would do what they're doing. So blessing to have him back, because he didn't have to.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think you're completely right. They have
Because you can just put Milam in like 5th, 6th, 7th.
Wherever.
And it's like you forget about him until he comes up to bat, and you're like,
Right.
If you don't know, like, he can sneak up and
You'll
bite
learn.
you.
You'll learn quick. Xavier on the year, they are obviously 7-9. They've lost to Oregon State twice. They beat Indiana, who was ranked at the time. And then they've got, they played, who else did they play? They beat Indiana a second time. They won 1 out of a series with Stanford, or 2 out of 4 against Stanford. And then against Tennessee, they lose. Vandy, they lose. 3 games to Vandy, they lose, as now they're headed in to Baton Rouge tonight before they face off with Southeastern and Tulane. They'll play LSU tonight, Southeastern tomorrow. So they'll go Baton Rouge, Hammond, New Orleans, a series against Tulane this weekend. So definitely look to see LSU take care of business tonight as they take on Xavier. But it is still baseball, and so things can still happen. But I expect LSU to stay hot because the mindset of this team seems to just be a little bit different.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird to say, but it feels like they're peaking right now.
Right.
Like they just consistently are playing good baseball. Like I don't know if they can play like much better. You could probably like everybody get a hit or what have you, but you're scoring almost 10 runs a game. You've won 11 in a row.
Yep.
Looking for 12. Like I think that one wake-up call in the midweek last week where it's like, what's going on, boys? And they were able to get a win, and you kind of got down, 5-0? Like, haven't been playing perfect baseball, but as of late, like after this weekend, like you're starting to see like kind of the light bulb come on for everybody. Like, okay, looks like this is the lineup and what we're going to do moving forward, and everybody's very comfortable in their spot.
Right.
And that's the difference between last year and this year, and that's where you don't really get bit on a midweek.
Yes.
Because I don't think that they're looking ahead to Missouri. Like I said, I think they want to go take care of business and then be extremely excited for a home series in the box because it's going to be rowdy.
It's going to be awesome. And then they're going to turn around and they have UL next midweek.
Gavin Guidry start.
Just full electricity.
Uh-huh.
Imagine if it was Schmidt on the bump.
That's what I would do.
That would be.
Then you have Texas after that, which is they're rolling right now.
Yes,
like I said, everybody in the SEC is pretty much
it's aside from
A&M is the only one really scuffling right now. Like I didn't expect much in Paul Maneri's first year at South Carolina, so he's going to have time to turn that thing around. But Georgia's good. Tennessee is obviously hitting the cover off the baseball.
Alabama's
I don't care.
good.
Yeah, I don't care where they play. Like they're hitting it to the moon.
Yes.
And so that's the funny thing about this year, or at least when you're considered a contender in the SEC, like you're not far and away better than everybody in the country. Like you'll see it whenever you play Tennessee, whenever you play Georgia, whenever you play like in the SEC tournament. It's not just because you're the number one ranked team in the country right now. Those are going to be games where you can't just say, hey, national championship, book it.
Yep.
Like, no, there's too much good teams around you. But it will be a good test to start to see LSU play some SEC opponents as they did this last year. I think they 17-2 in the non-conference, and obviously started off did not have the best of beginnings in SEC play. So I think people are cautiously optimistic about going into this SEC slate just because of what happened last year.
Right. Tom Graining in the chat. Weather this weekend isn't great. Checking in Saturday, there's a 60% chance of rain starting at about 6 a.m. and it stays until about 3 to 4 p.m. Saturday is also St. Patrick's Day parade, if I'm not incorrect.
I think there's rumblings of that being moved too.
Really? Yeah, so obviously the weather on Saturday is something to keep an eye on. But like we've said since the start, that is one thing that Jay Johnson has a very good feel for. He takes care of business when it comes to the weather. Obviously, this past Saturday, the game's supposed to be at 6 or 6:30. They bump it up to noon, get it out of the way because of the rain that was expected to come in. So obviously keep your notifications on. We'll let you know when we see something if you miss it, but expect some rain on Saturday as LSU takes on Missouri in the box.
Yeah, he's not afraid to move a game up.
No, not worried at all. But on Friday, the weather's supposed to be nice. It's supposed to warm up a little bit on this coming up Friday.
So maybe
see some balls leave as you did this past Friday, and it'll feel good when you get in there. But then it'll get a little bit chilly, obviously, after the rain. So make sure you get your row back, like Matthew Conkle said in the chat. Make sure you're prepared with your row back deal. I did see a funny thread on Tiger Droppings, speaking of LSU baseball, this morning. I just did a little scroll through to see what was happening, and if I can find it, somebody said, does LSU baseball have – oh, here it is. Mike Dat Tiger, or Mike Da Tiger, something like that, said at 7:10 this morning, does the baseball team have a legit closer? Lloyd, do you think this LSU baseball team has a legit closer?
If there's like one question you didn't have to ask, I feel like you're pretty lockstep with Case and Evans right now.
They have
things can change.
Multiple. But Case and Evans is the guy.
I mean, it's been very obvious that he's been going to that hasn't been like a spot close where it's like, oh, let's see Evans out there. Like pretty much out the gate,
Right.
He's locked down this closer role for himself, and I would be hard-pressed to put anybody else in it.
Right. Well, you're playing Dallas Baptist on a Wednesday. You need somebody to come in the game and close it out, and you go Evans. And then you turn around on Friday, and you're in extras, and you need somebody to step in and make sure LSU wins that game, and you go back to Evans. I think that stretch right there, if you didn't already know, that stretch should have told you exactly who the closer is for LSU.
Yeah, exactly. Like whenever he put him in high leverage situations and brought him back in to pitch off of just having one day in between, first of all, he really wants to win this baseball game because he knows what it means for however the polls are and however you want to. I forget it's not RPI, but it's something in baseball,
right?
And to see him roll Casey Evans then, and then bring him back for another win, okay, he's kind of locked down the spot. And you did see the velo dip a little bit when he's usually sitting around 95, 97. It was down 91, 93, but that's just because a little bit of use. You get arm fatigued a bit, but that is something that you will. For all of especially the young guys, that's something to keep an eye on when you get to the middle of the year. They've never played this much baseball.
Right.
And so when you start having situations where the innings get up a little bit and you have guys that haven't done it before, you will see probably a dip in velo or just kind of the consistency of it all go to the wayside of it because baseball is going to baseball. Same thing with Curiel, freshman who's been absolutely lighting the world on fire. But
right.
At some point, that dip's going to hit.
And plateau a little bit.
But he's proven to be a good enough player at this, or at least his approach is good enough to where I don't see it lasting forever if it does happen.
Stick with him.
Yes. So that's just a couple of things to keep an eye on when you get into the teeth of SEC play and you're wondering, why Evans out there? Oh, what's he doing? Where's
right.
Curiel? Thought he was all world. Because that's how people like to watch baseball.
Yes. That's the thing
I
love about LSU fans is every sport is football.
Mm-hmm.
Every sport is football. And the thing I love about it is football, it's so easy to be passionate about because it's such a sport that brings the passion out. And so they're so passionate about every other sport. But, and I fall into the same trap. There are a lot of times I'll start watching baseball like it's football, and I have to kind of adjust my mindset. But it'll be fun to watch LSU baseball tonight. Make sure you check out the Rally Time podcast,
go
we said. Justin, we're going to get that out soon. It's being uploaded now, and we'll have that up in the next couple of days to kind of talk about this past weekend and the game tonight.
Has Mike the Tiger watched a game this year?
I would assume not if he's asking the question of if LSU has a legit closer.
Fortunately, we haven't really needed one yet. I know Guidry played the role some last year, but personally, I do not have faith in him. I kind of like the idea of Ianson moving there with his velocity and that breaking ball, but he struggles to get going. So you have watched or read something, but you're going to take your Saturday starter and make him your closer?
Ianson just had 15 strikeouts in 7 innings the last time you saw him pitch.
Oh, let's just let him face 3 guys.
And you're going to move him to closer?
And somebody that notoriously is at least up to this point, has been a slow starter.
Right.
And you're going to throw him in that kind of situation where you'd only have 1 inning?
Yep.
I don't think it'll be him.
No. And he also, on top of that, he went through 7 and struck out 15.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't expect anything else. It's unbelievable.
Good for him, though. I mean, what a thought.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely's got I wonder what the responses were.
Evans.
Can we get some of those?
Evans. I mean, Casey Evans has gone 9 innings, all late-game situations, allowed 5 base runners, 0 runs, struck out 16, 3 for 3 in save situation. I think he might qualify for now.
Yeah, I mean.
People are still obviously on the turn your brain on.
Lord have mercy. Tell me you haven't watched the season without telling me.
And you want to move a starter to a closer role? All of these things are, I think it's more of this will continue to happen until he pitches. But it's a Guidry conversation. That's what he wanted to get in there.
Right, definitely. And, I think Guidry's going to be, bless you over there, Guidry's going to get to step in a somewhat of a stopper role. Really? Yeah. Like a sneeze attack. It's a sneeze attack.
A tickle.
There's something in there?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but be wary.
Wow.
So I usually have 2. And
that was 7.
Yeah, I'm starting to get nervous about it because it's annoying. Not only to me, but for kind of everybody.
I mean, it didn't really bother me all that much, but wow. That's tough because that's a solid 10, 15 seconds of your life, on pause.
Yeah, I could have a heart attack.
And that happens multiple times a day?
This has just started happening.
Okay.
At least once a day.
At least once a day. Wow. Any doctors in the chat that want to solve Lloyd's sneeze
Chronic
attack problem?
sneezing.
Yes. Wow.
But I could have sneezed again if I wanted to, but I held it back. I did. I probably deserve this because in high school there was a way you can make yourself sneeze. Like twist up a little piece of paper and shove it in your nostril.
Yep.
I mean, that was a great way to just pass the time.
Right.
And just sneeze 15 times in class. Like, Jesus, do you have to leave? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
You just
actually.
go walk the hallway and never sneeze.
I never did that. Wow. So you've brought this upon yourself, possibly.
It's a weird time for it to pop back up.
It is, yeah,
or like to get punished for it.
The world works in mysterious ways. Jay Johnson, one quote, said, "We've won games this season a lot of different ways with a lot of guys contributing. As I look forward to what we need to do, we need to continue to prepare at a high level and be excited about what we have ahead. That's the only way to be. It's a great challenge. SEC baseball, in my opinion, is one of the greatest challenges in college sports, and I'm excited to do it with this team. We won't be perfect, but we're ready, and we can't wait for the week to start. This is a good opportunity tonight. Stay hot, take care of business, get ready for SEC play, and like we said, they're getting back on a regular schedule.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the big things about this week is this is the first week since like week 2 that LSU is on a regular schedule. They're going in, play tonight. They get Wednesday and Thursday to take off, get ready for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and do the whole thing again. Tom Granning in the chat, I bet Lloyd was a nightmare for teachers in high school.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
It was not, I would, yeah, I guess you could say so. Yeah.
Is there one story that stands out the most of a time that you were just
So some teachers liked me.
Of course.
Some teachers didn't. And it depends. For some reason, the English teacher liked me, would let me sleep in class and put me in the front row, and it was the best.
Right.
But then there are other ones that were very much on your ass or on my ass. The worst was probably like the SRO officer when he tried to expel me because he was going through my car without anybody's permission. I was like, what are you doing? Get out of here. It was very bizarre. But, yeah, I have had my run-ins with the law at Old Menard. Got a lot of ISS.
In-school suspension, for those that don't know.
And then they thought I'd snuck out, and they thought we did have a kid come in and shadow me for a day, me and my buddy Cole, and he was at a different school, but you could shadow at different high schools if you're thinking about transferring.
And they assigned that to you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, he picked us.
Okay.
So
good choice by him.
Yeah, that was with the yearbook class where she specifically said we cannot leave, and it's like everybody gets to check out to sell ads, so he just did it anyway. Got him in trouble.
Of course.
We got ISS, and then I figured out that like they had computers in there that I don't think you were supposed to use, but we just logged on and G-chatted the entire time. And I went to sleep under the desk, and they got mad at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Tried to kick me off the football team. I was like, you don't even have that power.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. I mean, I guess they possibly could have, but
no.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
There you go. Yeah. CVO said, I would let Lloyd sleep in every class and slip him the notes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the lesser of two evils because the other way, I'm probably trying to make myself Steve. I'm distracting in the class. We also would there was a time when we had I think it was like Macbeth or something. Like she had it on tape cassette, and we figured out if you texted while the tape was playing, it would interrupt it for a second, like zzz, and so we all started doing it for the entire class. And she said, we can't even do this. And so if you just would have let me sleep, we'd have been fine.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, that's the thing about college professors that I never understood was at this point, in high school, I can somewhat understand it because they're trying to build you in to be a better person and a professional in the workforce, whatever. But once you get to college and you're paying to go to school, if I, one, want to skip your class, or two, want to sleep in your class, you should let me. If I fail, I fail. I'm paying the money to go here.
Yes.
So that's why I'll never understand the teachers who make attendance and the professors that make attendance and assignment and a grade, and you have to be at this many classes, you have to do this, you have to be here. To me, why? I'm paying to go here. If I don't want to come to class and I'm still going to pass your test,
well, I think it's a point of pride thing. You shouldn't be able to do this.
Right. And that's the part that I hate.
Yeah.
If I can make your test harder, make it where I have to be in class or I'll fail.
Oh, that was the worst, too, where they did, remotes. Did you ever have to do that where you had, clicker classes?
Yes.
Where you had to go in and, participate in the quiz?
Right.
And they actually cared if, you got it right or wrong?
Yeah. That's what I don't understand. If I don't want to show up, I don't have to show up.
Right.
But make the test out of things that only are addressed in class, I'll come to class.
Right.
But if you make the test out of the textbook, I'm not going to come to class. I'm going to look at the textbook.
Yeah, I'm just going to look at.
Or if you're going to post the PowerPoints on the website or whatever.
I mean, appreciate it, but
Yeah,
then don't
thank
get
you.
mad when nobody's here.
When I'm not there.
Like, you should want the least amount of people in class as possible so
Right.
you could cancel it.
Yes, and you don't have to show up. Colton Mack said, yo, I lived in ISS.
Yeah. Once it became a thing, too, that's what sucked because, like, out-of-school suspension, great. In-school suspension, also not that bad because
Right.
kind of like what you're saying, you've just got to knock out your homework.
Yeah.
Like, and that was great for somebody that didn't get home until, like, 6 o'clock.
Because of sports.
Right. And you're
Right.
like, when do you expect me to do this? So you'd get all your assignments for the day whenever you started ISS, and you just get to kick it in the library.
Right.
Like, this is awesome.
Well, that was my favorite thing about kind of what COVID opened up my freshman year of college was professors started just being like, I'm just going to do web-based class. Like,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, perfect. So like they give you the whole entire schedule for the semester, and they tell you when things are due and assignments and things like that, and you just get to coast. Those were my favorite classes. I made sure I scheduled at least one of those per semester, a web-based course.
Oh,
Just so
absolutely.
you can just,
I didn't have the luxury of COVID during
right,
school.
Right. No, I know it. I know it was a blessing and a curse. But we're going to close out the show here with...
We want to talk any women's basketball?
Yeah, we can. I mean, they're going to get rolling into March Madness here soon. It appears that they'll be a 3 seed instead of they were projected to be a 2 seed, but obviously they lose. TCU was in their side of the bracket. TCU wins the Big 12 championship. They win the Big 12 tournament. Led by Haley Van Lith, a former LSU Tiger, who some of the storyline, like I get that she caught some flack while she was at LSU. But as much as I think she's a great player, because she's a superstar, there was reason. I don't think she was disrespected at LSU. I think it just wasn't the right fit, and she didn't play well.
She was hurt.
Like, she was hurt, and I still, in my opinion, if she was on this year's roster as opposed to last season's, it would 1,000% would have worked out better. But she was brought in to play a position that she's not supposed to play, and a scheme of offense that she just didn't fit. And so now she's at TCU. She's playing well. She's rejuvenated that program, and they've jumped LSU in the bracket to be a 2 seed. LSU drops to 3. Not too much of a change there. LSU will still get 2 games in the PMAC. They make it to the Sweet 16. They'll still be matched up with TCU. And they'll go from there. To me, that's kind of where LSU is at this point. Like I said yesterday, I like what they showed me this past weekend, where they kind of got back to who they were, and they started to make some of the plays that they were making earlier in the season when they were playing so well. They got some depth pieces in. I'm excited to see kind of what they do in those first 2 tournament games. Some of the people they go to off the bench, if Miracle Shepherd's minutes still stay up with everybody coming back. Kaylin Gilbert, if she's able to get into a rhythm against some of these non-conference opponents like she did, as opposed to SEC teams. And then, a player like Jada Richard, I think, has an interesting opportunity, and Kim kind of talked about her, where she wants to win. She does the right things. She's she's a freshman. She was the only high school player you brought in last year. And she can kind of fill a role that you expect, where you've been looking for a point guard all year. She can kind of come in and be a threat there and kind of get some minutes and help 12, 24, and 4 out, where they're not having to play so many minutes throughout March. It will be nice. But my expectations are still high for this team as they move forward into the tournament, whether it's Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4, National Championship. To me, I think they're still one of those best 8 teams in the country. So Elite 8 is where I would have them. But TCU is going to be quite a matchup. If that's where they make it into the Sweet 16 and that's who they play, we'll obviously break that down more when we get there. But
where is TCU on this bracket? They have LSU as a 3 seed, the Baton Rouge Regional. It has Florida State playing Washington or Harvard, LSU playing North Texas. So the winner of LSU plays, I'd imagine, Florida State. LSU beats Florida State. Then you have at the bottom of the bracket, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Lehigh,
As Notre Dame as the 2 seed? Okay.
And so that's, I think, is an even better matchup for LSU. They've been scuffling lately.
Yeah, Notre Dame hasn't been playing quite as well, and they don't, their best player's a guard, which to me doesn't offer as big of a threat for LSU as a team with a big.
And it's not fair, I guess, of me to say they've been scuffling when I haven't watched them.
Right. When LSU's been scuffling as well.
Win and loss, you'd be like, oh, never mind.
Yep.
Which I think is kind of why LSU fell to the 3 seed. But Kim Mulkey was quick to point out, like, they're going to be healthy and they're going to be back.
Yes.
Like, Adisa Moro's fine. Flage's fine. It's just more of a getting ready for the tournament thing. So I think she tried to make a kind of a call to arms to, like, don't move us off the 2 seed. But this isn't a bad spot to be in at all.
No.
Like, I'm not scared of playing Notre Dame. If you're UCLA, I'd be pissed, though. You're a 1 seed. You have Tennessee on this side of the bracket, LSU, like USC. Like, that's a tough draw for UCLA because I'd imagine every time LSU gets a little bit misseeded,
right?
Like whenever they're not a top overall seed or a 1 seed, like you have to look through your bracket and go, damn.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like they're a 1 seed in here.
No, definitely. And I think for LSU, as long as they were one of those, a top 4 seed on their side and they got 2 games in the PMAC,
yeah,
they were going to be fine. I completely agree.
And they have South Carolina on the other side of the bracket, so they're trying to set something up.
Of course. I mean, that's what they would love for it to be an LSU South Carolina.
It's almost been a long time coming.
National championship. Like, the numbers that would do are laughable to even think about.
Iowa's fallen off.
Yep, Iowa's not the same, obviously, as they've lost their savior in Caitlin Clark, the one who put them on the map, essentially. And their head coach left right after, which is also a tough second punch. So it'll be fun, and we're obviously going to get some watch parties. Yeah. Leave on top.
Mm-hmm.
You made it to 2 national championships in a row, and now that Caitlin Clark's gone, you see the direction it's going. Peace out. I'm out of here. So we're going to get some watch parties up and rolling for you guys in this month of March as March Madness gets started. LSU women's basketball, obviously. Men's basketball, I'll talk about it for 1 second, plays tomorrow night against Mississippi State. They win, they move on in the SEC tournament. They lose, season's over. Focus will shift to next season. So we'll see what happens with men's basketball. It's a tough spot to be in, but obviously they'll play tomorrow night against Mississippi State. And like I said, watch parties coming up real soon for women's basketball. Baseball as SEC plays getting started. We'll get some extra content out to you guys. And don't forget, rally time coming out soon. And LSU spring football practice media coverage starts tomorrow. We'll be covering all of that for you guys starting tomorrow. And there will be practice on Friday as well. I will be out of town, so just a little bit of a programming note. Thursday, the plan is to go from 7 to 8, at least me. If Christian's here, maybe longer, but he has class, I believe. So the show on Thursday will be from 7 to 8 because I will have to head back to Central to get packed up, ready to leave for Lake Charles as we play Central High School takes on Denham Springs in the Class 5A non-select semifinals Thursday night in Lake Charles. So I'll be headed back there to roll out. And then Friday morning, I will not be in studio. I will be trying to get on a video call as Christian and Lloyd will be here in studio Friday morning from 7 to 9, as I will still be in Lake Charles. Hopefully, if we win on Thursday, I'll be there getting ready for Saturday. If we lose on Thursday, I'll be on the bus back, getting ready to get on the bus back to Baton Rouge. So just a programming note, there will still be content, still be a show, but it will just look a little different to close out this week. But still, we will have.
He's trying to win a state title.
Yes, trying to win a state championship on Saturday. That's the goal. We face Denham Springs on Thursday. That game is at 6:15. It's all on the LHSA network. So if you do want to tune in and check us out, you might see me on the bench. You might not. Check it out Thursday, 6:15. You win Saturday at 8 p.m.
The LHSA network.
It didn't go too well, but it seemed for football. But it seems that they've gotten a better grip on it for basketball.
Okay.
That's worked out a little bit better. Because football, it was not a success, I do not believe. But shout out to Sam and Christian because they took care of business then.
Yeah, that's the only way I could follow it.
Yep, love it. And that's, we're going to get back into the high school football stuff and swing next year. We didn't do any high school basketball just because it was kind of tougher to program.
Well, and you're coaching.
Right. So that, it added some different hurdles. But I'm excited for this weekend. This is a special time. Obviously you got to cut down the nets on Friday and now on the road trying to win a state championship. We got into Southeastern's gym on Sunday to practice because if you don't know, Burton Coliseum is where the state championships are held, and it's a bigger arena, so it's different. Depth perception can play a factor in basketball where you're used to shooting on a goal that's in front of a wall. Now you're shooting in front of bleachers and seats that kind of go up. So we got them into a big gym at Southeastern. Then we let the fellas got in. We got into the PMAC yesterday, and so the team got to practice.
Oh, that's cool.
In the PMAC, and they loved it. I mean, when you're talking about smiles on their faces, the second they walked in, and Lloyd, and it just looked like this. They were all doing that.
Oh, of course.
I mean, just picture, they're all trying to dunk and getting up on the PMAC rims, and so it was a cool experience for the guys. Then I think we'll get to practice at UL on the way up there, and McNeese as well once we're there. So pretty cool experience for me and the team over at Central, and a really unique opportunity to win a state championship in football and basketball in the same season.
Yeah, you're not going to make a lot of friends this way.
Do what?
Not going to make a lot of friends this way.
No, not at all. Not at all. It almost set up, Denham and Ruston faced each other in the quarterfinals matchup. And so if Ruston would have won that game, that's who we would have been playing this Thursday. And if you weren't aware, Central and Ruston faced off in the state championship for football, and it was a rout. It was 42-0. Ruston's head coach made some comments ahead of the game about Central. So there's a little bit of bad blood there. Central kind of went through North Louisiana to win that state championship, and so it almost set up to be kind of exciting because some of the LSU football guys or Ruston football guys are on the basketball, like a guy like Aiden Anding, who he plays basketball as well with Ahmad Hudson, who is a freak. But a little LSU football tidbit in basketball. We played EA last Friday, and they've got Bryson Martinez, the LSU football offensive lineman commit. And let me tell you one thing about this guy. It was they have two big offensive linemen that play. One of them looks a little bit different. This offensive lineman commit that LSU's got in the 2026 class, Martinez, got a steal on the defensive end and went coast to coast for a dunk against us on Friday. And so he's one of those athletes that is going to be pretty special when he gets on the football field for LSU. So make sure you keep your eyes and ears out
These
for
offensive linemen are
Martinez.
just turning into like athletes.
It's unbelievable. It was so impressive to sit there and watch. Be like, this guy is bigger than everybody else in this gym. Like 6'5", 300, and just went coast to coast and dunked. I was just sitting there like,
oh,
wow, it's a little bit different. So it'll be an exciting closeout to the week. But just remember, it might look a little bit different on Thursday and Friday.
As Kyle Williams gonna have beef because of the Central Ruston.
We'll see. Maybe I'll just keep my mouth shut and let them know that I'm not from Central.
Yeah.
But one of our guys that plays football and basketball was at LSU spring practice, and I'm pretty sure met Kyle Williams. So I'm sure that was quite the interaction after the domination that Central brought.
5 years ago today, speaking of domination, COVID-19 was officially declared a global pandemic.
Wow, my senior year of high school. 4 years ago yesterday, my first day on the Jordy Culotta show.
Really?
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
How about it? It's been a long time.
It has been.
I saw the memory pop up on my phone yesterday, and I was like, wow. Like, it would have been nice to say it yesterday on the official anniversary, but I didn't see the memory until last night.
Yeah, I'll forget to post all of that kind of stuff or bring it up on the show because I get this is your 1000th episode streamed. I was like, oh, I guess that's kind of cool.
Well, I saw I was going into the YouTube backend to upload a video the other day.
Oh, you dirty boy.
And it said, nice. It said, oh, it's your YouTube birthday. And I was like, oh, this is when Lloyd deleted the channel.
Had to start a new one.
It happened about 4 years ago this past week. So
didn't get the plane off the ground.
Nope, but it's all right.
Built the new one.
Look where it's at now.
That's right.
We appreciate you guys being here. Do you want to play one game real quick?
I think we should.
Close it out. We got 15 minutes left till 9 a.m. I'll let you pick whatever game you want. If you want to do a Sporkle, if you want to go Wordle, Weddle, Purtle, Dribble, all the options. Carl Dunn, softball being overlooked as always. Softball, obviously, very impressive season. They've been playing well. That freshman pitcher they've got, Jaden Hevener, the lefty, I believe, pretty special, and they're definitely playing a little bit different, it feels, this season. Obviously, some of the conversation came up the last couple of years, what felt like they didn't perform as many expected with such a talented and experienced roster. Carl says, I think Beth will be in the hunt at the end. Got to play well versus OU in Texas. Yep. When you talk about the movement of programs, football was obviously the top thing in your brain, baseball as well. You forget about softball, that OU and Texas were 1 and 2 in the country, and they're now getting moved into the SEC. So it'll be exciting to watch LSU softball try and take care of business against them as the season moves on. Hunter Hall officially in the chat says Sporkle for my birthday.
Oh.
Or Bravo Immaculate Grid. That's what he wants. He wants a Bravo Immaculate Grid with Below Deck and Real Housewives.
Is that real?
I don't think so. But he would crush it if he did.
That's true.
He would absolutely crush it. I'm still impressed by the Below Deck and Real Housewives run that you went on.
That's such a funny thing to say. Like it's a crazy name for a show.
What, Below Deck?
Uh-huh.
How so?
No, Below Deck. It's like right there.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a layup.
Sporkle.
Let's do it. Let's get one in here the last 15 minutes of the show. Glimmer says, happy birthday, old timer. Yes, happy birthday,
Hunter Hall.
Mr. Hall. Does Alabama play any sports today? Maybe they'll win for you. I hope not, but
maybe
they will.
I have to make sure we haven't done any of these. Oh,
That's
no.
good. We did that one?
No, but
Hunter Hall said he's the Paul Skeens of Below Deck.
That's true.
That's awesome.
It's hard to disagree with him.
Yeah, no, I mean that.
I couldn't. Yeah,
the performance he put on.
Let's see.
One of a kind.
I peaked a little bit. There's going to be some that we struggle with, as always.
That's okay. That's what the chat's for. The chat went on a big time run the other day. Got us through to the finish line. Wow, let's go. But appreciate you guys in the chat. Obviously, it's been a good show today. Let's see if I missed anything in here. All right. Ooh, Sierra Mist is the first one. I know that one. The one that rebranded to Starry.
10 minutes. Yeah.
All right. Sierra Mist.
This beat is automatic.
Two
supersonic.
egg-laying mammals.
An ostrich? Is that a mammal?
Nope. It's a bird, I think. What would be an egg-laying mammal? I have no idea.
What defines a mammal? Dolphin? They don't lay eggs.
They don't lay eggs.
Snake?
In the Christian Mingle segment today, we did do a Christian Mingle segment earlier, actually. The 5 basic positions of first position. Nope. This is what I always thought. The 5 James Bond movies featuring Skyfall.
This one, yeah. This is what made me click on it. I feel like I could do this one.
Yep. Casino Royale.
Spectre. No Time to Die.
Yep.
One of them stunk. Quantum Solace.
Yes. There we go. Great job. Great job.
Thank you. 6 basic nutrients.
What, like sugars?
Ivermectin. Oh, not in there. Protein.
A platypus. Terrell Fife.
I was thinking ice. Duck build. Platypus.
Let's see, what else do we have?
I knew that.
So carbohydrates.
Carbs are the enemy.
Fats.
Sugar.
I can't believe sugars wasn't one. I guess that's carbohydrates.
Yeah. And so is bread.
The 14 states that do the.
Which side is the Atlantic Ocean on?
That's like Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. How about that? Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina. What else is what? Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. New York?
Yep. Maryland, New Jersey.
It's you.
What an awesome...
I turned my other one in.
Virginia.
West Virginia? It's
No,
on the
that one's-
inside.
yeah, it's on the
Maybe it
inside.
touches, though. Nope.
Let's see what else. I'm trying to think. Maine, Connecticut,
Rhode Island?
Vermont. Nope. What else?
What else is up there? Delaware?
No, that's on the other side of Rhode Island, I believe. But you can try it. There it is. Perfect. One more left.
What else is up north? I don't travel the coast very often.
Me neither. I'm trying to think what else is there.
What's next to
New Hampshire?
Hampshire. Yes.
There we go. All right, perfect.
I didn't think we were going to I didn't know any of those.
Okay, 7 cities with an NBA team, but no other major sports teams.
Huh. That's an interesting
Sacramento.
question.
What else?
Oklahoma City. Like, think of the ones that. What about Portland Trailblazers?
Okay.
Trying to think of people that like go to games. Golden State Warriors. No.
Utah Jazz.
Utah. It's like the.
What else is
It's
in
always
that
like
one?
a fervent fan base. Like, this is all we got.
Orlando Magic.
Yeah. Well. Oh, I'm doing states in my mind.
And then we need two more. I'm trying to think of some. The Nets, Brooklyn.
Oh.
No. I guess maybe they have something else.
Hockey.
Oh, San Antonio. Thank you, chat. It's a good one.
One more.
It's not Toronto because they have baseball and hockey.
Mid-market teams. Minnesota. No, they got the Vikings. Start listing them. Just teams.
Pacers. No.
They have the Colts.
Hawks. No.
The Braves.
Cleveland Cavaliers. No. Pistons. Detroit. No. Lions. I'm trying to think what else in the NBA. Memphis. Perfect.
Nice.
All right. 2 first names of main actresses for show Broad City. No idea.
What about this other egg?
Oh, the 4 colors. Somebody said that in the chat. I saw that.
Red.
White, black, red, and pale. Who's that? That was Hunter Hall.
Nice.
Outstanding.
Well, to get this Broad City right.
Yeah, this feels like a Hunter Hall layup right here.
What carbohydrates, proteins?
I feel like I should know the basic nutrients.
I know.
Water? Let's go. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, water. Shoot. What else?
I would say it's very nutritious.
Leading goal scorers. Where's Christian? This would be a Christian question.
That's another one that I was like, we're not going to finish this one because I don't know that.
Christian would have that one. You think he would answer a phone call right now?
You got 3 minutes.
Let's see.
I'm going to say Ronaldo.
See, somebody else said sugars. Echidna as the other animal? As the other mammal?
How do you spell it?
ECHIDNA.
Wow.
Shout out to Shane LeBlanc. Minerals. Sabrion says minerals.
Just minerals?
Just minerals.
Oh,
perfect.
Vitamins. Yeah.
Let's go. Vitamins and minerals. Let's call Christian. Let's see if he'll answer. He's definitely in class. But
Rooney. Zlatan? Ibrahimovic is who he's based off. Ibrahimovic. Oh.
I hate school.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
What a loser.
What's the little short fucker? That's in that plays in Miami now.
Messi?
Yeah.
There we go.
I got Ronaldo.
Arsenal. Somebody said something about Arsenal in here.
Oh, Thierry Henry.
Oh, look. Is that Christian? Let's go. Hello?
Hello.
Are you in class?
No, I'm about to walk in, but...
Who was the
Perfect.
leading goal?
We got a quick question
Yeah.
for you on our Sporkle. Can you name the leading goal scorers for
Bayern Munich?
Bayern Munich?
All time.
Thomas Muller.
Thomas Muller.
Nice.
Perfect. Got it. Liverpool. Gerard. How do you spell that?
Gerrard.
Nope, that was wrong. Try again.
What about Man City?
Charlton. Charlton.
Charlton. ELTON? RE.
Wait, no, it's Mo Salah. It's Salah. SALAH.
Nope, wrong. What about Milan or Man City?
Man City. Aguero. AGUERO.
Perfect. That was Man City. Good job. Milan.
Inter Milan.
Inter Milan.
Oh shit.
With Milan's permission.
Milan. I don't know. Try. Maradona.
Maradona. How do you spell that?
Maradona.
Nope.
Damn.
You're really flexing your knowledge right now, though.
Yeah. Are y'all live?
Yeah, we're live. They can hear you.
Shoot.
No, it's all right.
I don't know Inter Milan.
It's all right. We've got 2 seconds left. That's it. Go learn something.
All right.
Thanks, buddy. You did good.
It was
Ian Rush for Liverpool.
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna get that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir.
Lana Abbott. So, in point, demi point, Tindu, Pele, never would have gotten those.
No, I mean, you could have put a gun to my...
45 out of 55 is pretty solid. That's a good day. That's a good day.
What did we miss? Doesn't give me my...
We missed 10. And so we missed 2 for the actresses.
We missed
3 soccer players and all of the basic positions. Giuseppe?
Mbappe.
Oh, Mbappe. Wow, we should have got that.
He probably would have gotten that.
He definitely would have gotten that.
We had Paris Saint-Germain.
Giuseppe D.
I did not know Ian Rush.
Nope.
All right.
But that was a good day. Good show, guys.
Is that our
Appreciate
highest score yet?
No, we finished it last week, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Friday we knocked it all the way out. But happy birthday, Hunter Hall.
Happy birthday, Hunter Hall.
Appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9. Don't forget, Rowback, 20% off, TIGERS.
Or Barker Brothers.
Or Barker Brothers Plumbing Works, 225-776-2431. G-Team, everybody, appreciate you all.
Go
We'll
Tigers.
be back tomorrow morning. Go Tigers. Spring practice tomorrow. Stay ready.
Oh, man, we talked about daylight savings time yesterday. Saving time.
Time.
We couldn't figure out which one was which.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had our brightest minds on it between me, Mikey, and Jared Mitchell.
Should have called Jordy in. He's really good at those.
Yeah,
sorts of
he
things.
is. See,
Remember when we were trying to figure out Las Vegas?
God.
That was a freaking headache.
I'm stacking days when I can't lose. Hey, Gino, put my headphones up, bro. You right there. Big stepper, we can never put on the same shoes. I've been giving L's like I know love and I can't lose. For myself, man, I can't lose. For my family, man, I can't lose. I grind hard and I can't lose. I'm stacking days, man, I can't lose. Big stepper, we can never put on the same shoes. I've been giving L's like I know love and I can't lose. For myself, man, I can't lose.